What's up, everybody? Gerard here, as always, with the 3T Podcast official YouTube channel. If you've been following WWE lately, other than people being pissed off about the Fiend Seth Rollins match, they've been talking a lot about the WWE draft, which takes place this Friday on SmackDown and on Monday's Night Raw coming up this Monday. The brand split is back. The wild card rule is gone. See you later. It's out of here, which is a very good thing. I think they kind of got stagnant running the same guys on both shows at times. And I think seeing where the roster shape up would also shape the products on the respective shows. And I think it'll be you'll see what direction they want to go in with these shows. Now, it's very interesting that the draft's coming up. We decided to do our own version of that, a mock draft, so to speak. We were throwing out 5 names to Raw, 5 names to SmackDown, and 3 to NXT. We think around this kind of names will get split. At least on TV. I mean, they'll have to do like WWE.com or either YouTube where they add even more names. But to condense it, we're going to do 5-5-3. And this is very similar to what the MLB, NHL, NBA, and NFL does on ESPN and other sporting networks, where they break down the draft, mock drafts, all that, the Mel Kipers things, the Tom McShays, etc. So we want to do our own version of that. So Rice Krispie, the good brother of all good brothers, my co-host on the 3T Podcast, he sent in his 5. Starting off, going to Raw, he has Randy Orton. Velveteen Dream getting moved from NXT up to Raw. Bayley, he really put an emphasis on them teaming Sasha and Bayley still, which I do agree with. Bianca Belair, Daniel Bryan to round out his Raw side. From SmackDown, he has the OC being on SmackDown with AJ Styles being a focal point on them. Essentially, he wants to see the New Day feud with them. He has Seth moving over for a fresh start, new feuds, new brand, etc. for him. He has Shayna Baszler, the Usos, and the Street Profits rounding out that 5. I dig it. From NXT, he got Kevin Owens, who's been rumored at times to be moving over to NXT, even in the short term, with the Shane McMahon feud, which hopefully is over. He also has Cesaro going to NXT to reform the Kings of Wrestling. And lastly, he has a surprising name to me, at least, Andrade. I like his names. I feel like it's a very good blend. I see an emphasis on tag teams on SmackDown on his list. Personally, I don't know if they're going to go in that direction, but I would love to see the Street Profits versus the OC, the Street Profits versus the Usos, the Street Profits versus the New Day. Sign me up for that. Now, for my list, we're on SmackDown. At first, I got Ricochet. Yeah. If they want a more athletic sports brand, more like realism, having a high flyer could really get a live crowd into it, especially because you're trying to get casuals also in on Fox, because a lot of people might just have Channel 5 or wherever it is in the area you're listening to. Ricochet could do that. He's been gone viral a couple times. His match with Ospreay and stuff like that. I think he'll be a great fit for the brand. I would love to see him feud with Shinsuke Nakamura over the IC title on SmackDown. I think a feud like that would do wonders. Or even Ali versus Ricochet would be fire. Secondly here, I got Sasha moving to SmackDown permanently to stay with Bayley. Yeah. So I would have 3 of the horsewomen on SmackDown, because I think you want to load up their women's division on SmackDown for sure. Right? Because that's been an emphasis of their branding is the women's revolution. And I think that would be very important to continue that on SmackDown. Raw, you would have Becky Lynch still be on Raw. She's the Raw Women's Champion. I think they're going in that direction. Secondly, here, I would have the Kabuki Warriors on SmackDown, so that's 3. Sasha, Kabuki, and Ricochet. I think having the women's tag team division on that brand also puts a greater emphasis on the women's division there. We have 2 more names now, guys. Stick with me. We got 2 more to go. Another big name. I think you have to have a big name on there, moved over there, and for the heavyweight division, I would have Braun Strowman probably move over to SmackDown. I see them doing a lot of mainstream stuff with Tyson Fury. I think it'd be pretty good. I know we're not a big fan of another Braun Brock situation happening at some point, but I think Braun moving into there would be pretty interesting. Open up some more feud and maybe a Nakamura, stuff like that. Lastly, I would move Samoa Joe, number 5 on my list, over. I think that would be another legitimate athlete with a lot of history and moved into a brand. So you had another name recognition on there. So you would still have Brock. You would still have big names on there. And now for Raw side of things, I would have first Roman moved over to Raw. So you would have Roman and Seth and Becky as your highlight guys and girls on the Raw brand. You can't have everyone heavy on SmackDown. You know, you got to have a split here. And I think we would like to see more of that on there. And I think if you have a Brock, a Braun Strowman, you know, guys like that, or Nakamura, you still have some star power on there. Especially if you have Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha Banks on SmackDown. You had another 3 of the top people that they've been pushing for years on SmackDown, along with other names. I would probably even move The Fiend over maybe to one of these shows. I wouldn't even mind. That's someone who I couldn't get a feel of who I would put on there. But, yeah, he's like the middle ground. Like, I'm not too sure. But Roman, for sure, I would like to see him on Raw. I like having him and Seth having an interesting dynamic would be pretty cool. So that's one name. Secondly, R-Truth, I would have the 24/7 title on Raw. Raw kind of feels like more of a sports entertainment oriented brand. They've been doing stuff with Rusev and Bobby Lashley, and I think he would be a good fit on there. And the 24/7 title, making it exclusive to Monday Night Raw, would be pretty badass. And you have the women's tag titles being exclusive to SmackDown Live. All right. Third, I would move the New Day, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E over to Raw. I think that would be another big faction on there. You could do the OC feud on there too. So I'm very Raw heavy with some of these names off the bat. I mean, I know people would think I'm stacking star power over to Raw, but I think it'll balance it out eventually. So you got Roman, you got R-Truth, and the New Day. That's 3. 4, we need someone to work with Becky Lynch, right? You need another strong woman on the roster. There's a couple of names that I would like to bring in there. I would be moving Shayna Baszler over to Raw. She would be the heel to the man's babyface, right? I think their dynamic would be dope. We also have that dynamic of this is one of Ronda Rousey's teammates. And I think having her there would be pretty exemplary for the brand. You have another strong woman that you could build in. Very unique background and character herself. Great feud. So that would be your second big woman star on the brand. Lastly here, I was tossing and turning in my mind about who we are. We have a tag team. We have a couple other names. Chris, the Rice Krispie had a couple NXT names. From NXT here, moving to Raw. I would like someone like... There's so many names on NXT, but I do want to have at least one more moving over, right? I like Riddle. I like Velveteen. Actually, you know what? Let's go with Velveteen. I think he'll fit what Raw is more oriented to, which is like a sports entertainment, while still being a fantastic wrestler, right? So me and him have a pretty big agreement with that with Velveteen. Now, interesting, we're going into NXT, the mock draft, right? NXT, they're looking for more specifics, right? Like Finn's a known guy who was on NXT. Big name on NXT. Semi-big name on the main roster for the most part. You could say the latter part of his runs were disappointing to an extent because he wasn't really used as much. But he's now back on NXT, so let's add that. We'll add Cesaro, who's been a solid name on the main roster. I would like to see him move on to the NXT brand. Doing stuff in the NXT UK branch would be great. Maybe Cesaro Walter. Fire match. I think that he'll fit what they're looking for to a T. Secondly, I would move Ember Moon back down to NXT. I think she was a lot more protected on NXT, and it'd be more beneficial to her career to be on NXT. Now, lastly, we have a woman, we have a man. I think we need a tag team, right? So now for a tag team, I would move the Lucha Brothers. Not the Lucha Brothers. I wish they had the Lucha Brothers on NXT. But I'll move the Lucha House Party down. I think their Lucha Libre feel works well. They have the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, the NXT Tag Team Championship, the UK titles. You have a lot that you could do with 3 luchadors. And there's not a big Lucha Libre influence on the NXT roster. I know they have Garza Jr., the former Garza Jr. They have Humberto Carrillo. They have a few other names on there. Raul Mendoza, who's very talented. But adding more makes it even better. And I think that'll be an awesome little mix there. They could have some cool matches on NXT. I think Ram Metalik will be a breakout star in NXT brands. So I hope that'll be something that maybe they would do. But that'll be my third NXT pick. I think we have a pretty balanced thing. Raw is more sports oriented. SmackDown's looking for more of a athletic background. I think they want to put a more emphasis on the women's division on SmackDown television. At least that's what I got from watching it this past week. They also have a lot of emphasis on athleticism, so Ricochet fits that mold. Samoa Joe fits that mold, even though he's a little older. He slowed down a little bit, but he's still very athletic for his size. Brings another unique aspect. Braun Strowman brings another big main event presence onto the brand. I think you might see other guys moved over there. Also, Rey Mysterio is someone I could see moving to SmackDown. I think you're going to see a very balanced roster between the two. But at the same time, you'll see the specialties that they're looking for, both creatively and in the ring-wise. NXT obviously is going to be looking more for an in-ring perspective here. I'm very much looking forward to what they do with SmackDown. I feel my interest in Raw hasn't faded at all the last couple months, while my interest in SmackDown has certainly dropped dramatically for the most part, other than the Kofi angle and the last couple weeks with the Shinsuke Nakamura angle, when he's now getting an actual push. So one of those two things will change. I think Kofi might move. Nakamura is probably going to stay on SmackDown. And I hope that my interest in SmackDown can build up. I'm already interested in what NXT does on Wednesday nights. Their roster stacked from top to bottom. They have a very unique build to it. And I hope this balances out the rosters a little bit more compared to other brand splits where one show got shafted and the other show was stacked. Like back the last draft, when initially you thought Raw was stacked and ended up SmackDown did a lot with less. And I think it'll be more balanced this time around, as now you're dealing with two different networks. So that's all for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, who do you want to see move and why? Do you agree with me in the Rice Krispies picks? Do you think we messed something up? Did we forget someone that so obvious could fit a sports entertainment brand like Raw, or more athletic sports entertainment brand in SmackDown, or a pure wrestling brand in NXT? Let us know below. Let us know on our Instagram, @ThroughTheTable, @iStrongStyle. Check our actual podcast out. We have a 2-part music-based episode where we talk about music and what it means to us and what music connects to professional wrestling. That's on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn Radio. Check out the WrestlePost app, big director for professional wrestling. And that's all for now. And until next time, this is Gerard from the 3T Crew signing off. See ya.